had it been a possibility, I think I would have really not wanted to make a film without Irrfan in it. I really enjoy the privilege of having Dimple's trust. I feel if I make something without Dimple, it'll be incomplete. I'm not someone who is capable of being a fan. I don't have that in my genetic system, I think.
For all film related interviews, reviews, and content, please like and subscribe to Pooja Talwar. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram.
Hi, Homi. How have you been?
I have been absolutely fantastic. Couldn't be better, honestly. And
That's very flamingo, man. I mean, I never thought you will get into this space.
why? I'm a hardcore fan, yeah, of all the shows. I'm absolutely
Really?
bullshitting you. I I absolutely had no idea. I just knew they were very popular at some point in time. And I knew they were about sasses and bahus and some kitchen politics or whatever. So since my show was also about sasses and bahus, but definitely not kitchen politics, but some other kind of politics, I said, why not? Yeah, let's do a little tongue-in-cheek flip on the head. And hence, Das Bahu or Flamingo.
You know, maybe this is what the Sas Bahus have been planning all along, you know.
Yeah, what? Sorry?
I think this is what the Sas Bahus have been planning all along, you know. Just get them high and, you know, kill them softly.
And kill the patriarchy. No, I think, yeah, I mean, these women are solid women. They're solid women. They're quite, but you know what? Honestly, it's not about the whole show is not actually about the drug rivalry or the drug business. The show is actually about the sort of mad manipulative politics in this high stakes game of this family, and against the backdrop of this drug rivalry which is going on. So it's quite interesting. Characters are very unique and all very different to each other. And as soon as the human predicament of when they're offered power, what can happen to people. So I wanted to explore all that. So it's gone quite mad, I must say. Quite mad.
And it's also your first time in the web series, that space, but also your kind of cinema and narrative has always been quirky. There is an element of wackiness in it, but it also says a lot, you know. So what was it like from the 2-hour format to go into the 2-hour mini films?
2 hour? No, it was like shooting, I think 3.5 or 4 feature films in one shot. I remember my producer Dinesh Vijan told me, because the whole world told me that get different directors for each episode and you be the showrunner. And I said, I don't understand what that means. It means either I direct it or I'm not going to sit on the set and watch someone else start using my content and trying to be creative about it. And then Dinesh Vijan, the producer, said, listen, you're an anal Parsi Bawa. He said, you are not going to allow anyone to direct your content. Quietly suck it up and just direct all 8 episodes. And fortunately, I listened to him because, Pooja, I'll tell you, it was one of the best experiences I've had. It was tiring as hell. It was, we were in very brutal places environmentally, cold, harsh. But the spirit with which this thing was made, and I think it was a bit of a spillover from my experience with Irrfan on Angrezi, where I realized that, dude, life is too short. It's time to, whatever you're doing, do it with passion and enjoy it. Because finally, it's only going to be a memory in your head. So I remember when we actually sat and did the table reading with my entire cast and crew, I think they really thought I had gone mad because I said, this is the first time I am going to have 200 plus people as a control group. So I want to do a social experiment. I want everyone to love each other unconditionally. I want everyone to have each other's backs. It's just a matter of 3 months I'm asking you for. I think that also they were okay with till I turned around and said, and I want everyone to say I love you to each other on set. I think that they were a little shocked with. But I promise you, after a week, that's what was happening. And it became so utopian and so beautiful And ironically, we were making a film about such a dystopian world and living such a utopian existence offset. And after 3 months, it was I mean, for everyone, it was such a special experience that it never got tiring, it never got negative, everyone was there for each other, whether departments were helping each other, whether actors were there for each other. That is the spirit with which it was made. So for me, finally a film will come, a film will go and do whatever it does, but what is left with you is the memory of that experience of making it, and it's a great memory we created. So I'm on a win-win.
Absolutely. Anyways, we are living a dystopian reality. All those films that came back in the 80s and 90s, who knew we would be living all that, at the moment?
Really?
But also, Dimple playing that godmother-like, type. It's basically plant godfather here in, rural India. But you've always worked with Dimple, and somewhere I just feel she sheds all her inhibitions when it comes to your narrative. What is this creative energy between the two of you?
I think I really enjoy the privilege of having Dimple's trust. I mean, we've come a long way from being Cyrus, and we are very sort of similar in that, she's actually it's insane considering her filmography and all. She's very elusive to public, but she's actually like she's a very accessible, fun-loving child. That's how I see her. She's actually like that. I mean, and you realize that only if you work with her in that, like, for example, all these youngsters who are in this film worked with her and realize that, oh my God, this is Dimple Kapadia. So they're all very intimidated in the beginning till they realize how she is. And she is absolutely no baggage of her filmography or stardom. She is someone who has butterflies in her stomach before every scene as if she's doing it for the first time. She's wants to make sure everyone is fed and everyone's taken care of and everyone's having a good time. And that's how she is. I mean, she's... so for me, initially, she would do stuff. It sort of... She got repeated in the next and the next. And then I said, chal. But somehow she knows when I'm doing a project before even I do. And she'll call up, hurl some choicest abuses at me and say, why haven't you even brought it up? And I'm like, but I have not decided if I'm making it yet. And there's no choice, actually. There's no choice. I'm mortally afraid of her. And now after she's played this character, so she's going to come with all guns blazing. I have to cast her and everything. But saying that, I mean, now, initially it was coincidence or maybe a sense of comfort. Now I feel if I make something without Dimple, it'll be incomplete. I just love the experience of having her around. Even if it's a film that doesn't have a role for her, she'll still call and she'll say, you bloody bawa, you can't leave me out of this. I am going to do a walk by in the background. And since it's in London, we're shooting, then at least keep me there for 7 days and I'll work for 1. So all this nonsense goes on.
Wow, but Homi, it's so interesting that you've actually managed these casting crews, I would say, getting actors who otherwise would have said no to others. Whether it was Rishi ji, and Irrfan, and there is Dimple. And also like with Saif, like being Cyrus, he still says it's his all-time favorite. I want to know, what is your process? Has it changed from day one to now? I mean, how would you describe Homi Adajania of being Cyrus to Homi Adajania of Bahu or Flamingos?
I think very different people for sure. And I love that. I'm grateful for that because I think the only inevitable thing in life is change. And the more you embrace change, the happier your journey will be. So definitely different people. But I think what has stayed the same at its core has been that I've never been someone who is... See, I am who I am. I'm not someone who will... I'll say it like it is. I'm not someone who is capable of being a fan. I don't have that in my genetic system, I think. I mean, the most incredible people who I admire and respect also, I respect and admire them for what their talent is or what their art may be, but not... That's where it begins and ends. I have no I don't feel any compulsion of knowing someone or being. All that doesn't appear. I mean, that make a difference to me. So I think that sort of candidness and that basic frankness that we are two human beings collaborating. I am creating this. You are using your craft, and that's the marriage. And that has not changed from then till now, to now. And I feel somewhere they appreciate that that sort of honesty, that unaffected way of, because I think they may be sometimes surrounded by a lot of people who surround them for the wrong reasons. So I think in that sense that works for them, where they enjoy the frankness of it, the passion with which I want to tell a story, and they know what I will do. To some extent, they'll know how I will exploit the craft or the talent. So I feel that's why they sort of sign on board and see how much they can push the envelope.
And also, your filmography is one side. You've not been bound by formula. You're one of those directors. And
I've
also,
not been,
I must
sorry?
tell you, you are not one person who's been bound by formulas ever,
Oh God, no.
And never. And it's surprising. By the way, I must tell you, most of the actors I speak to all want to do a film with you. They all want to do a film with you. So now this shift that has come in, whether it's the streaming platform versus going to the theater, how have you interpreted it? What has it been like? Because you were not the person who was also like catering to the set kind of people. You were doing what you wanted to, and it did really well. Whether it was Finding Fanny, whether it's Cocktail, your movies have always done well.
Well, I feel the OTT, in fact, recently a journalist was telling me that, but I think I was on a radio interview or something, and someone said that, oh, you though made an OTT film before we even knew what OTT was. And he was talking about Being Cyrus. He said, ab to sab log Being Cyrus ko copy kar rahe hai. I said, no, that's definitely not the case. But I know what you're saying. I feel OTT is a blessing for us, for actors, for all of us in the business, because it allows you to tell your stories with a certain amount of purity, that you're not inhibited in terms of having to bank on the commercial success of a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you don't have that pressure. The censorship is way more liberating in a certain way. Saying that, I think it's our responsibility as filmmakers not to abuse that freedom and not to just put shit in to just create shock value and which is unesthetic, or just I feel that is our responsibility, and if we don't have that responsibility, we'll shoot ourselves in the foot. So in that sense, I feel OTT has given us a lot of it's really opened up the spectrum. Also, it's opened the spectrum of the audience. Today, someone sitting in Brazil can access material that I'll make. So I mean, or I can access, or vice versa. So I'm saying that I feel in that sense, it's really given us that. It's a brilliant time. It's really a brilliant time to be in, and it's a brilliant time for me because, like you said, I was never someone. I'm someone who's a very impulsive and instinctive filmmaker, and I'll tell the story I want to tell at that time, and I will never go back to a place of comfort. So I would, people say keep getting harrowed about making a Cocktail Part 2 and making things like that, and I'm just like, I would never make a film if I know how to make it. It doesn't interest me. I have to be scared of, and have a certain amount of fear, which for me is excitement, that I don't know how to do this. I had never done a long format before. When I did Cocktail, I had never done this song and dance rom-com kind of formula before. So I really didn't know what to do. But I said, I'll make it my own, and therefore I'll do it. But the reasons I did it was because when I did Being Cyrus, I didn't know how to make a movie. I was a scuba diving instructor living in Lakshadweep. I came here, pulled my lungi off, put my this thing on in 6 months, and I'm making a film. Everyone laughed and said, oh God, Homi is doing one of his crazy things again. And I actually made it. And the next thing, we were carrying those reels at that time. It was film on our heads and going to all these foreign festivals with no money in our pockets and showing it around to all these audiences. And so it was just all different journeys in life where you can't sit and try to plan them and all, because I think life will become very boring if you did that. And
absolutely.
And in terms of genres of films, I know when actually, in fact, one DOP who I was talking to before I was shooting this, he said, "What are you doing next?" And I said, "Right now, I'm thinking of doing one film about wrestling. But after I finish this, I have no clue where I'll be in my head. It'll depend on which voice is screaming the loudest amongst the 300 voices." And he turned around and he said that, I'm not joking, you're the only guy. If you see your filmography, it's the most schizophrenic filmography I've seen in my life. We don't know who the hell made this, and then that guy made this, then he made this. It doesn't make any sense.
No, and
I said,
actually they give a facet to your personality, yeah? Angrezi medium, Finding Fanny, Being Cyrus.
It's all very bizarre. Yeah. I'm suddenly, as you said all that, I am thinking, my poor wife, how does she deal with this? Who's come home today? Who's come home today? Oh, it's Angrezi medium. Okay, come on in.
Are you like that? When you're working on Cocktail, you have a different vibe when you're working on a film like Sara, series like
I don't have a different vibe. I don't have a different vibe, but I'm definitely someone who gets very emotionally involved with my characters, not my actors. So that line should never be blurred. It's just my characters. I love them to death. So when a character dies or when a character is going through trauma, I definitely take that back with me. I have a problem sleeping. I have a problem. I need to purge that situation out. And then I go back and then another scene happens. And I'm invested in another character. So my wife prefers that I don't stay at home when I'm making a film. She says, finish it, get all your shit out of the way, and then come back. And that's how it is. Yeah, that's how we do it.
Come on. I mean, Cocktail till date, Deepika says it was a game changer for her. I mean, Veronica, everyone told her not to touch and see where it took her,
Yeah.
And that's a lot of actors actually feel doing a film with you just might would be the game changer because you put them in a space and place that could be challenging. It also makes them break out of their own shell and those stereotypes that, they're all, So what next? I mean, I know Sara Ali Khan is very excited about what she's doing with you.
We just finished, in fact, I just wrapped on that film 3 days ago. It's a very wacky murder mystery. Then I'm producing a film on Siachen, which my associate director is directing. So I'm producing that for the first time.
Wow.
But I'm very, very passionate about that story. So I want to tell that story. Apart from that, then it's too long. Then my year is over. Then I can't commit to longer than that because God knows who that guy will be after the year. So we'll have to talk to him at that time. So that's
looking forward to that. And lastly, since Dimple, I know she is a permanent person in the credits when Homi does a film. Who's the other actor that you are like, without even thinking twice, will just cast this person?
I'm not at all like that. In fact, if the actor will not justify playing the character, I will not cast them, no matter who they are. So I mean, yeah, sure, your very talented actors could play any character, but I know this is it's actually just talking in the air because it's not a possibility. But had it been a possibility, I think I would have really not wanted to make a film without Irrfan in it. Yeah.
Totally get that. And that was actually ironically the last film of his that I'd seen.
Yes.
So always like enshrined in our memory. But it's just amazing. Keep doing what you do. And we love the many personalities of Homi. So, do you have names for your various personalities also? Because it makes it easy.
It's not been clinically diagnosed yet. So let's not talk to anyone about that.
I like the Saas Bahu or Flamingo. I mean, interesting. Flamingos. I mean, the flamingos must be wondering,
what the hell is going on? I know.
But such a pleasure speaking to you. Really looking forward to this one.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Bye.
If you've liked this interview, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.